Meow, hello Maddie. How are you on this lovely Wednesday evening? I admit I am pretty darn low energy today. So instead of because I'll be honest, I feel like if I tried to play Fire Red right now, I wouldn't be able to concentrate. So instead, I'm going to do some comfy retro gaming, and we're going to play some Sega Genesis stuff. I'm not going to try to beat any games today or anything like that. I'm just going to go in here and chill and showcase some favorites. And just, play a few games until I feel like switching to something else. Super hard time waking up. Feel pretty chill. Ate dinner, out for the count for at least an hour. Like a lot of retro games, Sonic 2 here will actually go and do some automated gameplay because there's a single player and two player versus mode in this game. It also has an option screen, very exciting. You can play music. Yeah, you normally by default play as Sonic and Tails, though you can just play just Sonic or just Tails. Tails doesn't have his flying or any special abilities in the original version of Sonic 2, so it's 99% cosmetic. Hi Soda, how are you doing today on this lovely... Well, it's Wednesday evening for me, it might be Thursday morning for you at this point. I had the phrase in my head that it was my birthright to be asleep, that if I woke up, the world would end. I was half awake, so I fully believed it. Ended up not actually waking up till 3:30. Okay, good. So we still had until 3:30 this afternoon for the world to survive. It's 1:13 a.m. I know, for me, it's not actually morning until 5 a.m. I go by Animal Crossing logic, I guess. But yeah, for this playthrough, we'll go ahead and be playing as Sonic and Tails. Like I said, I'm not doing a full playthrough of Sonic 2. I'm just going to play till I don't feel like playing Sonic 2 anymore. And then we'll switch to another Sega Genesis game. Starting in Emerald Hill. A neat thing about the first, the 2D Sonic games... because the Genesis actually has a really unconventional button layout compared to modern controllers. Where modern controllers pretty much have the Super Nintendo-style diamond layout. With the Genesis, it actually had, 3 buttons in a row, A, B, and C. And, of course, the D-pad and the start button. It's funny, even though it's supposed to be next generation compared to the original NES... Because the original NES has, a D-pad with A, B, start, and select, kind of like the Game Boy systems. So the Genesis had one more action button, but it didn't have select, so it still technically had the same amount of buttons. The car oil change done, some light changes, 270 euros. Now, trust me, I do not like motor vehicles. They are a giant money pit. Wong. This is a shield. Normally when Sonic gets hit, he'll lose rings. Well, basically lose all the rings you're carrying. But with the shield, you won't lose any rings. If you get hit, you'll just lose the shield. So it kind of is like a +1 defense. The little monitors here give you 10 rings. But yeah, even though the Genesis had 3 buttons, with all of the original 2D Sonic games, every single button is just jump. So you don't need to do any button configuring. It's cool because pretty much everything works off of just the D-pad and the jump button. Because, of course, you press the button to jump. And then you can press down and the jump button to do a spin dash. And when you release down, you'll zoom. Wanted to draw with voices in my head going, don't. Yeah, those voices are the mean, stinky voices. So Don't listen to the mean voices. Listen to my voice, little squeaky mouse in your head saying, "You can do it! Draw those boobies!" This is an invincibility monitor. It looks just like a superstar in Mario or whatever. You can't take any damage while you're like this. You can still be squished or fall down bottomless pits, though. And when you get 100 rings, you get a 1-up. See, if you look down there, on the bottom left-hand side, you'll see my little life counter with a little Sonic face, and it says Sonic X4. The cool thing with Sonic is, like, you can use momentum to get to secret places, like this little secret 1-up right here, this little nook in the waterfall. Because there's no run button like Mario, it's just like the longer you hold forward, the faster Sonic will speed up. But he carries momentum for slopes like this, because if you just walk normally, it's like really hard to get up this. But if you're running and then you spin dash, you'll go zoof. Also, in the classic Sonic games, spinning into a ball will actually help you maintain momentum over long stretches better than running. Because if you ever hear, like, old school Sonic fans being pissy about physics and stuff like that, it's usually because of that. Because the physics in the first 3 Sonic games were programmed in a very specific way. 4 whole Sonics, wow. And when you hit a sign, that's the end of the level. If you get more than 10,000 points at the end of an act, you'll get a continue. Sonic 2 is the first classic Sonic game I saw, first speedrun I saw. Used to watch a channel that did video game challenges, and for New Year's Eve, they uploaded an attempt to their personal best of Sonic 2. Fun way to celebrate New Year's. Ah, yeah, that's super cool. I like the Death Egg robot now, but as a kid, I hated it because I could not figure out how to beat it. I would always just jump into the hand and die. I want to show you guys something real quick, though. Because I was, like, kind of chilling through Emerald Hill, but, like, you can finish this Act 1 with some skills in, like, under 40 seconds. Probably under 30, but I'm not quite that good. Wish LEGO did a replica model. They did for a time, but it wasn't a big, meaty one. They just announced a Mega Drive LEGO model. It's not, like, super high-end. It's pretty small, but it's still cool. See, this is definitely not one of my best, but hey, we got it in under 45. Wow, she says the actual name of the console despite being an American. I say Genesis a lot because that's what I'm nostalgic for, but Mega Drive's a better name. Even my stream, I used Mega Drive in the title. I do tend to use them interchangeably. Because like I said, I'm nostalgic for the title Sega Genesis. But Mega Drive's what it's known literally everywhere outside of North America. And also, it's a better name. Though, from what I understand, it wasn't some weird, like, America-specific marketing reason or something. I think there was a copyright issue with it. Also, the little monitor I grabbed that had the red shoe in it will actually increase your max speed and your acceleration while it's active. Ooh, hey, we got 50 rings. There's a little ring of stars here. We can jump into the signpost and play a special stage. In 3D! Whoa! Whoa! These are not my favorite. I'm generally, like, as much as I love classic Sonic, I really don't particularly like any of the special stages. The ones in 3 are okay. But the special stages in 1 are borderline nauseating. The special stages in 2, the first couple are fine, but they just get obnoxious. The thing is, for some reason, if you play as Sonic and Tails, which is the default, like, game mode, it requires a higher ring count. The thing is, Tails, you probably notice, is moving how I'm moving, but slightly after me. This isn't that much of an issue in the early special stages, but in the later ones, you can cause some huge issues because they require some pinpoint precision. Because when normal gameplay, if Tails gets hit, you don't lose anything. It doesn't matter if you got a shield, rings, but in the special stages, Tails will lose rings if he gets hit by one of those black bombs. So if you hit one of those, you lose 10 rings. So it can get really obnoxious playing Sonic and Tails mode in the special stages, because Tails can just... you can just lose rings through no fault of your own. Like I said, in the first couple, it's not that bad, but the last handful of special stages, hoo boy. So if you complete all 7, you'll be able to unlock Super Sonic, which I feel like just through cultural osmosis most people are familiar with. But yeah, basically Sonic goes Super Saiyan and is completely invincible, but it drains your rings like 1 ring per second. And if your rings go back down to 0, you turn back into normal Sonic. I choose the soup. Fun fact, though, I'm not going to try to do it right now, but there are enough star posts between Emerald Hill Act 1 and 2 that you can actually become Super Sonic before finishing the first world. Or first zone, I guess I should say. Why are you buying hedgehogs at the soup store? I just love zooming around. I love collecting rings. I do not feel like doing another special stage right now. Only learned that Clamp did the designs for Code Geass. Yeah. I honestly love the character designs in that show, and that's just about the only thing I like about it. Well, okay, Johnny Young Bosch as the protagonist is pretty nice too, but I can get that fix in many other places. Get hosed, Robotnik. Also, I love the way that they did the background layers in Emerald Hill. It's so gorgeous. I wonder if that island in the background is supposed to be the island from Sonic 1. We're headbanging. This zone actually made it into a lot of other Sonic games. It's in Sonic Mania. It is in Sonic Generations. I never realized this as a kid, but the things you're running across here are actually like tubes of liquid. So you can see them like sparkling. Hello, Bezel playing The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Honestly, I freaking love this music track. I should probably add this to my intro music. This is another one of those things I never found as a kid, even though I would always get up here. I wouldn't even try jumping there, I just figured it was a dead end. Water-cooled data center. Oh, that's right, I gotta jump down the thingy. I could absolutely see Robotnik just importing, like, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of gallons of water to cool his shit. That's why we ended up with Sandopolis Zone in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Blorp. We have the little blorpy blobs. See, Sonic 1's one of the classic Sonic games are kind of among the classic era games where if you press the start button to pause it, it literally just freeze frames. I always thought those little ball worm thingies looked really cool. They look really 3D. I would also always get hit by those as a kid. And then there's a spider grabber. If those grab you and you're playing a Sonic and Tails mode, if you mash the jump button, you can actually kind of get Tails to save you. You see, what a lot of people don't think about is the Sonic games, the classic Sonics, are really not just all about speed. Speed is like a goal you can work toward, but it is still about precision platforming and being careful and stuff. It's like the platformer version of Devil May Cry, where like once you get really good at it, you can just style on it. Like with Devil May Cry, you're styling on the enemies and bosses. But with Sonic, you're styling on the level design. These little things will boost you fast, as you've been seeing Tails demonstrate while I yap. But yeah, not all, but most zones in classic Sonic have like kind of a high, middle, and low route that'll all lead you to the end of the stage, but usually like the high route takes a lot of skill to get to, but is usually like more stylish and has less enemies, while the low route's usually a lot safer, kind of. Well, it's a lot easier to get to, but has usually more enemies and more platforming. I didn't mean the lower one's safer, I just meant it's easier to get to. Verbal typo. It's a good analogy. Oh, thank you. Zooming! Bonk. Yeah, in the classic Sonic games, you'll get 1-ups at 100 rings and 200 rings, but if you somehow get to 300, you won't get another 1-up after that. But I think the only way you can get to 300 in the vanilla version of Sonic 2 is with like the gambling thing at Casino Night. Wait, you'll always get a Sonic sign when you're playing Sonic and Tails mode, but if you pause it fast enough, you can see the Tails sign. Because in Sonic 1 and CD, just about every zone has 3 acts. But Sonic 2, with one exception, well, kind of 2 exceptions, it has 2 acts in each zone. It has roughly the same amount of stages as Sonic 1. Despite that, it's just you see more set dressing and more variety and stuff. I will say, for a lot of Sonic 1 zone, by Act 3, a lot of the level gimmicks did feel a little stale. So the Act 3s tended to be a bit shorter anyway, because they had a boss fight in them. So you kind of get 2 bigger acts, instead of like 2 medium-ish sized ones, and then a small one with a boss. Yeah, even though Tails does his signature flight, that's only when the computer's controlling him and he's trying to catch up to you. If you play as Tails, you can't fly like that. Though in a lot of the subsequent releases of Sonic 2, because Tails doesn't get to fly as a playable character until Sonic 3, but a lot of the subsequent releases, like Sonic Origins or the mobile port, will actually let you fly as Tails. So apparently there was some Yuji Naka trivia. I know where this is going, and it's hilarious. He disliked Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg, and his suggestion was Billy Hatcher and the Giant Cock. I mean, that probably would have improved sales. Probably not to the audience he has in mind, but... I just can't help but think of like that chant that's on like the title screen or whatever. You know, G-I-N-T-E-G-G. Whoa, I'm getting some... Usually don't get this bad of slowdown here. Gintcock. Yes, the title screen opening thing spells giant G-I-N-T. I always loved the little LED lights on these platforms. I remember, because I played the Sonic games really young, and I remember, like, I thought it was so cool when I noticed it the first time. Standing on a platform with caution tape wrapped around it. You know, like, it's one of those things I always noticed but never paid attention to, how there's, like, the little subtle glow of the LEDs on the platforms here, too. Really nice detail. Ah! Nope, nope, that didn't happen. But yeah, they kind of seem to have predicted that you would fall out there, probably from playtesting, and they put a little extending platform there to save you. Word for phone case is cock. Nice. Oops. So if I ever see you rocking a cool VTuber phone case or something, I'll be like, hey, bro, nice cock. Nope, that didn't happen. Nope, still didn't happen. Sorry, I got too distracted by that cock. Also, weird, funny graphical glitch. See Tails' tails normally, but if he's like standing against something, his tails like have a different animation for some reason, even though the rest of his animation's normal. Dee-lee-lee. Dee-lee-lee. Oh, wait, that's right. I wanted to show off one other thing in Sonic 2. Well, kind of two other things. If you go to Options, remember I showed you guys the sound test before. If you play number 19, 65, 09, and 17, you'll hear a ring sound that's not normally there at 17. Then press start here. Hold down the A button. This would be A on the Genesis, not on like the Switch controller. So it'd be Y if you're playing it with like a Switch controller. And then press start while holding A and you'll bring up a level select. You can play any level in the game if you want to. You can even try out the special stages, go right to the final boss. And there are actually a few other codes because you see the sound test is still here. Also, if you're wondering what the significance of 1965-09-17, September 17th, 1965 is Yuji Naka's birthday. That's also 7th Force's mom's birthday. Okay, cheater. Mwahaha. Listen, I have beaten this game, like, literally dozens of times. So 04, 01, 02, and 06. Right, because we heard the Emerald sound, which is not normally the sound that plays on number 6. And now let's hold A, press start. Ah, everything looks normal. Or is it? Let's grab this just in case. Okay, so my Twitter account back and retweeted a thing, liked 3 posts, and got... Twitter is like... it's kind of been a shitbag for a while, but it is falling even further apart, dude. It just makes... Yep, and there we go. Get 50 rings and jump. Now we become Super Sonic. Homie just, like, glides over the ground. Doesn't even, like, run. But a whole suite of animations. Look, stand on spikes like it's no big deal. I love the edge animation. He's just fucking aura farming. He has, like, a unique crouch animation. You have the freaking superhero landing. Still has regular Sonic's look-up animation, so he, like, unsupers when you look up at something. Few animations he has are still regular Sonic's, like the spring animation and stuff. Also, anything that shares Sonic's palette will be superified. Look at the flicky there. Super flicky! Super flicking out. I don't think this will have the glitch in it, but I'm going to give it a try. Oh, it does! It just doesn't soft lock it, yeah. Oh, darn it. I'm trying to get it with Sonic on screen. Give me a sec. Too much momentum. Okay. There we go. Chilling in the air. Okay, the soft lock is still in here. Yeah, if you like hit that right as soon as you hit the sign, it won't actually call the end of level. So you're just stuck here. Like, the timer's not even running, so you can't even time out and lose a life. It's not that big of an issue when you're playing it on, like, an emulator, like Switch Online or something. But, if you were doing this on a real Genesis and you did this, you have to reset your console now. That's all you've got. Though IIRC, if you've used the stage select at least once, yeah, you can actually press start and then press the A button, and you can soft reset it without physically touching the button. And you don't even, and if you soft reset it, you don't even have to redo the level select from the sound test menu. You can just hold A and press start again on one player, and it'll just bring it right up, because it stays in memory. You have things like if you press pause and press B, you can actually move everything one frame at a time. And if you press pause and press C, you can play the music while the game's paused. There any case where the sign's still Eggman's face? No, as soon as you hit it with a character, it turns into that character, so it won't, like, stay on Eggman face. Though in some of the Game Gear games, the signs work differently, so in those, you can do it like that. Because a lot of the Game Gear games will have, like, the sign will just be blank at the end of the level, and you'll get bonuses, like, if you get your character, you get a 1-up. If you get, like, your friend character, you'll get, like, a continue. If you get something else, you'll get points, and a lot of times Eggman's just the you got nothing sign. Okay, for realsies, let's go ahead and take a break from Sonic 2. What shall we play next? There's actually a really freaking good selection of Genesis games here. Musha, in particular, is like $100-something game. It's probably over 200 at this point. But it's actually a shmup. You know, I guess you guys get a free hot take today, but I'm not really a fan of the term shmup. It just sounds super awkward. I don't really think shoot 'em up is a really good name for the genre, but I also don't have a better idea. Like, when I remember when I was little and stuff, you know, during, like, the 16-bit era, everyone I knew just called them space shooters. Even though not all of them take place in space, obviously. Even back then, they didn't. But, you know, like, most of the big ones, like Gradius and R-Type, and I know it's technically supposed to be pronounced Gradius, and while I generally will change my tune when I learn the proper pronunciation, I just can't give up Gradius. I'm so sorry. Big old Blast Town. We'll call him Bob Games. Big old blastin'. Like, comment, and subscribe if you're a big blastin'. Actually, let's play another one that I grew up with. Ristar is such a wonderful game. I'm probably going to do like a full stream playthrough of Ristar sometime, but no, I'm tired. Okay. And we should call them country ukulele games. That only applies specifically to Phalanx. Though my headcanon for the cover of Phalanx has always been that that guy's actually the spaceship pilot talking about his hotshot younger days in the form of a song. Ristar, also known as Ristar the Shooting Star. Okay, normally this is my preferred method, but with the Pro controller, it maps A to Y, B to B, and C to A. Okay, I know that was really confusing. But the Genesis buttons are in a line of A, B, C. So they map those literally to like the buttons in order on the Pro controller. Also, the passwords in this game are not for continuing your game progress. They're all cheat codes. Planet Flora. This game has amazing music, by the way. But yeah, Ristar, he jump and he grab. And everything in this game is about the grabbing. You can grab in every direction. You can even do diagonals. Remember, Genesis stuff did a lot more diagonals than a lot of Nintendo games did because the Genesis D-pad actually had built-in diagonals. As a result, like, okay, I did play it on Sega Genesis originally, but most of my time playing Ristar when I was younger was on the GameCube Sonic Mega Collection. And, you know the way that the GameCube's analog stick is notched? You know, like, it's got, like, the 8 notches and 8 cardinal well, you know, the 4 cardinal directions and then, like, the other not so cardinal directions. I don't remember what you call them. But it has little notches like that, so it's actually really comfy to play Ristar on a GameCube controller. Also, the way that the GameCube's, like, B, A, and, X buttons line up works really well with the Genesis 3 button layout. You can, if you see a flying fella, you can ouch your butt on some spikes. Get over here, flying fella. You can just hang out. You can even rock the D-pad back and forth and swing. Honestly, like, this is gonna sound weird because this game feels very Sega, like, aura-wise, but from a design perspective, it feels really Nintendo-y in the way that it really zones in on one mechanic and teaches it to you and then tests how you apply the mechanic while coming up with new and creative ways to, like, integrate it into the levels. Ooh, I can tickle this wall and get a 1-up. You can also slam your head against walls, and sometimes you'll find gems and stuff that'll give you points. But with these, you can reach up and spin through them, or you can hit down on the D-pad to just zoop. And with these little things here, you can reach up. You can climb across them. Ooh, wait, is it here? There we go. You hear that echoing sound, a lot of times you'll get a free gem or something. But yeah, those stars at the top right-hand corner of the screen are actually my life gauge. Though you can find little stars in the levels. If you find a yellow one, it'll restore 1 point of life, and if you start a blue one, it'll be a full heal. So you can grab these, you can swing on them. This game is so freaking pretty also. Like, I love the way this game looks. It is one of the most beautiful Genesis games. So you've got a little star, we'll store 1 health. Even as a little spin animation. I like how his sprite looks and the expressions. Yeah, Ristar's super freaking cute. I love his design so much. I like his little wahoo when he jumps on something. Treasure box. No, like the expressions on everything in this game are super good. I actually want to show you guys something real quick, because you probably noticed Ristar look a little angry. Hi, Whoopie. How are you doing on this lovely Wednesday evening? We're playing some Sega. I can speak English, I promise. We're playing some Sega Genesis stuff. We're not really going to try to play through and beat any specific game or anything. We're just chilling, vibing, and I'm showing off some of my favorite Genesis games. No Crunchyroll had manga. Yeah. They have for a while now. So you can grab one of these little power bars here, and you can go meow, ride on shooting star. Let's go. Whoop. Ow! Why would you do that to me? I am just an innocent little Ristar. Nope, time for the first mid-boss. Go punk. Cool thing with Ristar, even though the bosses don't really have like traditional life gauges, they'll actually change color whenever they're in like different damage stages. Explodes into balls. You can grab that heal real quick. Whoop. Yeah, a lot of times you can just diagonally, if you time it right, you can just fucking wall climb by diagonally zooping. Like, comment, and subscribe if you diagonally zoop. Whoop. There we go. Yeah, as you'd probably guess with these are kind of a one-way trip. Ooh, we got a bonus thingy. This will appear anyway, you don't have to do anything special. Except maybe actually get to it. And don't fall like a silly bean. Okay, we'll just go back around. Yeah, I played this game for at least 30 years of my life, and I can't remember how to fucking do it. Yeah, this actually came out in '95, and I think this came out for the Genesis, like, after the Saturn was already out. I know the Saturn was out in Japan, because it came out in Japan in '94. And the PlayStation was already out, so, like, it is pretty unknown, but thankfully Sega includes it in almost every compilation, and it is wonderful. This game is a joy to play through. Okay, we got a bonus area. We got to get the treasure in the time. Congratulations! I better get applause and a penguin yip for that. I'm kidding. Mostly. And this is the end of level spinny thing. And you get extra bonus points the higher you go. Kind of like the goal pulls in Mario World. Next area. Dark Woods. That just sounds like a field spell in Yu-Gi-Oh! Lizard. Tickle, 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 tickle. A fucking Bagworm. Tickle, 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 boom. Ha. Get bonked. Ristar goated game. Hello there, Harry McCrack. Welcome in. Yeah, I'm not going to be doing a full playthrough of Ristar on this stream. Mostly, we're going to just be doing, I'm just going to going through Genesis games, showing off some of my faves, playing around a little bit, just kind of a chill vibe stream today. Yeah, my name is Mats the Gaming Mouse, aka Mikea. And I love playing RPGs, retro games, platformers, Metroidvania, and so much more. And if that sounds cool and fun, then you can grab a controller, find a spot in front of the big old CRT TV, and we can enjoy our favorite games together. Bonk. But yeah, I grew up playing Ristar. I love this game so much. Bonking on a tree. Bonking on a tree. The spin. Gotcha. Bonk. That's right. If you collect a health refill in this game, you already have full health. It doesn't really do anything. Tree bonking. Honestly, considering that the Genesis doesn't naturally do sprite scaling, that effect is pretty impressive. Yeah, now you can use the little bars that it knocked down here. Sometimes I what? Sometimes I okay, that's enough of that. It's my favorite Genesis game. Well, you've got some good taste then. Because Ristar freaking rules. It's definitely like in my Genesis top 5. Though it has very close competition with Rocket Knight Adventures. For like, I'm sorry, but like I'm one of those people who's very Sonic biased. I know that's like the most vanilla ice cream thing to have as one of your favorite Genesis games, but I grew up with the Sonic games. I love them so much. I can't really like, I'd be lying to myself if I said they weren't my faves, but I kind of put them in their own separate little category. Like, I love Pokemon, so like when I'm talking about like my favorite RPGs, to keep the list from just being all Pokemon, I put it in its own separate little category. That's kind of how I do with Sonic when it comes to my favorite Genesis stuff. Tickle, 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 tickle. Poof. Looks fantastic on a CRT. It really does. This game on a CRT TV pops so much. Like, I wish there was a good way to actually show CRT footage that makes it look like what it does in person. Only booted the Mega Drive NSO app once. Guess what's out? The Game Freak game. Pulseman is the name of the game. It is also very good. The annoying thing with the releases of Pulseman that are on both the NSO and the Wii Virtual Console is they're the Japanese language versions, but there is an official English language localization that was available on the Sega channel in North America. For those who don't know, the Sega channel was a thing in like 95 and 96, I believe, that basically your cable provider could stream Genesis games to your console. It was definitely not cheap, but Blue Star, full hail. But yeah, a lot of, not only did it have previews, demos, and like special editions of games, before that was like a normal thing. But it also had a lot of exclusive games that either didn't release outside Japan or didn't release in North America otherwise. In particular, Mega Man The Wily Wars. Guy in the background spitting stuff at me. But Mega Man The Wily Wars was one of them. Pulseman was an exclusive to the Sega channel in North America. Because you know, Mega Man The Wily Wars just got a standard physical release in Europe. Ack! Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Oh boy, I really effed up the height bonus on that one. Riho is coming. Hog? Also, like, the galaxy background for, like, the stage select thing would be an amazing background for, like, your phone or something. Look, I love the way that, like, the light actually, like, when Ristar's standing in the light beams, it actually, like, lights him up. Wonderful little attention to detail. Get bonked. Okay, now I grab his evil backpack, and it beats him up. No, actually, that's one of Kaiser Greedy's monsters possessing him. Riho's not actually a bad guy. Get back here. Ooh. Good thing Hurricane has low accuracy. It's not raining. He's using his pedal dance. Bonk. Get hosed. Get re-hosed. I know you can't see me, but I gave a thumbs up to the TV. Thumbs up back to Ristar. Let's go! I love the way they do the effect with the stars and the little in-between stage things. Flora clear. Fantastic. Just like you guys, chat. You're all fantastic. Planet Undertow. Gosh, I love the music in this stage. I'm gonna vibe to the music for a sec. Also, I love the effect of using like the very light gray pixels as kind of the outline for Ristar's arms against his body. And I just love the background here with like the ruins underwater and everything in the pyramids. It's so cool because it makes it feel like each of the different planets you go to kind of have their own history. Alrighty, everybody grab your favorite sugar-free, caffeine-free beverage of choice and take a nice big sippy. I took a nice sip of my water out of my water tumbler here. Okay, but now I want to show you guys something real quick. We're going all the way out of the Mega Drive and into the Mega Drive. Sega high-quality video game system. Because Ristar got a lot of visual changes for the international release. It's 2 a.m. Have a good one, Soda. I hope you have a nice, good, comfy sleep. Thank you for dropping by and hanging out. I always appreciate when you're here. Yeah, they actually don't have the text narration over the intro in the Japanese version. And you notice the goddess wasn't there in the English version either. And it actually has the full title, because they removed the Shooting Star subtitle from the North American release for whatever reason. Interestingly, like a lot of Japanese 16-bit platformers, almost all the text in this game is in English. Instead of Planet Flora, now it's Planet Near. Does that mean I'm gonna have to beat it 8 times to see the real ending? But you'll notice that Ristar is no longer grumpy and determined. He's actually in a pretty happy mood, looking bright and cheerful. They actually gave him the freaking American Kirby box art treatment in the North American version. And he still has like the determined strut in his walk and when he's doing his grab animation and stuff, but look, he doesn't look all grumpy when he's standing in place anymore. But yeah, all the planets have different names. They kind of have more spacey sounding names in the... Also, see, like, the bird guy is a different design, too. But the planets have more spacey sounding names in the Japanese version, where in the English version, they're more, like, thematic, like the grassy one being called Planet Flora. If you walk through these, you'll... Oh, it didn't work. Well, I might show you on the next one. But come back! Wahoo! Swinging! Hello, hello. Just got done rewatching Last Unicorn for the upteenth time. Hi, Gusty. How are you doing on this lovely... Well, I guess it would be Thursday morning for you. It's Wednesday afternoon for me. Bink, boink. But we're playing some Mega Drive. But right now I'm just showing off the Japanese version of Ristar because there were actually some changes to make this adorable, pure-hearted little store boy 1% edgier for the English localization for reasons, I guess. You'll get little bomb things that'll explode on you if you don't shake them off when you walk through the, if you just walk through that instead of jumping over it. Also, I kind of was zipping through because I'm so used to playing this game, but like, gosh, I love the way the background looks. Because look, you got like the big mountains in there, and then you have like the palm trees in a little kind of beachy area. And I love how everything's reflecting on the water as it like moves back and forth. Got the little birds flying around. Doing some work done for Art Fight, redoing ref sheets. Okay, that's enough Mega Drive. Back to the Mega Drive. Best promotion on streamboo.org. Why don't you get yeeted into the sun, bot? Once again, I cut a worthless object. Go back. Wait, what is he doing? Okay, give me just a sec here. I was trying to remember. It's like, it's a little funky about the spelling. Why does it scream when I erase a letter? I completely forgot about that. I just wanted to tell you, chat, I love you. Yeah, that's one I've always remembered. And now when you start, you can just go to whatever level you want. We can go back to 2-1 if we wanted to continue. You can even go all the way to the final boss. Wow, it's the best. Quite the bargain. Last boss. Love you too. Ooh, ooh. I don't know if there's anything else I want to show off with the Ristar. Well, I can always come back. Wait, actually, there's something I want to show off. This wonderful sound test. Umotomat's on stage sound theater. You can listen to any of the tracks in the game. And each track actually has their own, like each level actually has their own theme. Because a lot of times when I was a kid, which, yeah, putting some age on myself here, well, this was before, you know, you could just go online, listen to any song on YouTube or whatever. It's before YouTube even existed. A lot of times I would just turn on the Genesis and put on like Ristar or one of the Sonic games while I draw or whatever and just listen to the music in the background. Yeah, this is one of my favorites. I think I actually have this one on my stream intro playlist. And also, when you choose a boss fight theme, the singer gets shocked and falls off her little perch. I'm just kidding, baby. You can come back on. Sent you ref sheets I finished. Ooh, I'm gonna go look at my phone. Ooh, what we got, what we got. Ooh. Many very handsomes, oh my. Poxfoot. Oh, these are super cute. You did great with these, Gusty. Alrighty. Now, resist the temptation to jump into any of the RPGs, though Phantasy Star 4 and Shining Force are both really good. Oh, that's right. I forgot they have Mean Bean Machine on here. I think they have that and Puyo Puyo too. Because they do have Pulse Man on here, which is made by Game Freak. Because, like, fun random fact. Okay, Pikachu's attack, like his signature move, Volt Tackle, is actually a mistranslation. Because Pulse Man's signature move is Voltecker. And that's supposed to be Pikachu's thing, because this is developed by Game Freak. So it's supposed to use, like, the Voltecker move. And I guess whomever was localizing it when it was first added to the Pokemon series kind of didn't get the reference. Yeah, we'll do it like that. World map, criminal data. Yeah, kind of like similar to Mega Man, it lets you choose from a handful of stages when you start the game. Since there are a lot of Poke nerds here, I thought it would be fun to see what Game Freak worked on besides just Pokemon. You've actually got a lot of attacks for a platformer, because you've got the basic attack here. You got like a sweep kick if you press down on the attack button. Got like a flip kick. And yes, if you're wondering why this sounds very Pokemon, same composer. I love the Sega and Game Freak signs in the background. Game. I'm actually not anywhere near as knowledgeable on this game as I am of like Sonic or Ristar or anything, because I really haven't played it as much. I do own it for Wii Virtual Console. Look, a little Robo Mousey with grapefruit wheels. Ah. So it has been a while since I've spent any time playing Pulse Man, so I am very rusty. Because it always gets me with the music that dun, 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 dun. That is so Pokemon. Yeah, this is actually playable on Nintendo Switch Online. If you have the expansion pack, you can download the Genesis app, and it's just there to play. Hee, that didn't happen. Because I know you can build up a power charge by, like, running around. There you go, get hosed. Anyway, I'm just going to finish my rounds on Twitch and go to bed. Take care, cuties. Good night, Gusty. Thank you so much for dropping by. Thank you for showing me your art, too. It looks great. It's always nice to see you here when you drop by. Bye-bye. Good night-night. Look, see, look, it's even the classic, like, Game Freak logo right there on the sign in the background. Kick. Boutique dolls. I'm not playing this super serious, just kind of running a Cafe Alex. In case you guys want to play some Lunar. Shock arrow. Sometime, like, I do kind of want to do a playthrough of Pulse Man, but I'm probably going to need to look up some guides on, like, how to actually be good at the game and do some practicing on my own first. There's the Voltecker. Because if you actually look at Pikachu's Volt Tackle animation, especially in Smash, it looks really similar. Look, there's a little Genesis on the sign back there. Ah. I'm not going to try to do much more Pulse Man right now. But I at least wanted to show it off because, like I said, we have a lot of Pokemon lovers in this community. So seeing some of Game Freak's pre-Pokemon work is always really cool to me. Fun fact, Crusader of Sinti here. I'm not going to try to start it right now. But it is a top-down Zelda-like physical North American Genesis copies of this game are like $500 or $600. Blah. Hi, Rain. How are you doing today on this lovely Wednesday evening? I feel a lot more recent Pixel platformers that come out don't have an edge balancing animation. No, I agree with you. A lot of 2D games don't have that as much lately. $600. Yeah, it was published by Atlas. It only ever got one print run. But yeah, Rain, we are doing just Mega Drive and chill, just playing some Mega Drive / Genesis games, relaxing, vibing. We're not really doing any like serious deep playthroughs or anything. I just wanted to hang around with you guys and chat and show off the game. It's probably going to be a short stream, so I'm probably going to only go for like another hour or so, maybe. I'm super tired today, but I still wanted to stream. This is another game I had growing up. It's weird because like I had the Genesis version of Earthworm Jim 1, but the Super Nintendo version of Earthworm Jim 2. Sucked into Final Fantasy XIV, fully understand the tiredness. I literally like was trying to keep myself away from my PS5 controller because I knew if I touched that before I started streaming, I would play Nina and not stream. Yeah, this is Earthworm Jim. I am very torn about this game because when I was little, I had a whole phase where I was obsessed with Earthworm Jim on the same level as I was obsessed with like Mega Man and Sonic. Overwatch Mission, Mina the Hina. Also, I love that everything's 2D animated, and then there's this like realistically rendered refrigerator. Got launched. The thing is, the character designer of Earthworm Jim hates me and wishes I were dead. I'm kidding, not me specifically, but a very terrible, like every possible anything that any of us are phobe, he is that. It's like super ultra Christian fundamentalist, horrible. It's like there are good Christian people out there. There are wonderful Christians out there. He's not one of them. He's one of these stereotypical piece of shit ones. And it really makes it like, because I am very lucky that I never got super deep into anything where the creator turned out to be a piece of hot human garbage. But Earthworm Jim is one of the few. It's weird because like Earthworm Jim wasn't really created by one person. The terrible human being in question, and I don't even want to name him because I don't want you guys to look him up or learn anything about him because he's not worth it. But the terrible human in question was definitely the main character designer. And did contribute a good bit, though a lot of his ideas were vetoed. But you know, also like Dave Perry worked on it, he was like one of the lead designers behind like Cool Spot for the Cool Spot platformer, the Genesis Aladdin, he worked on that. Also, Jim has wonderful idle animations. And it's one of the few 2D platformers from this era where you can actually like grab a ledge if you miss a jump by a little bit. I know that's common in 3D games and stuff, but it wasn't really too common in 2D ones. So yeah, you have a gun attack with limited ammo, and though if you get below 100, it'll actually like regenerate ammo up to 100. And you can also head whip, which has a pretty long startup, but it is more powerful than the gunshots, and of course, it doesn't have limited ammo. You can actually shoot in 8 directions. I'm going to show off the ammo regeneration real quick. So I'm not going to play this for long. Earthworm Jim 1 is definitely not a bad game. But it doesn't have any levels that feel like they're like Bob-omb Battlefield Green Hill Zone fun kind of levels. It's hard to explain. But none of the levels feel like you're playing a fun level. They all feel like they have some kind of gimmick. So there's not really a standard level to just play around and enjoy Jim's like moves and the vibes and stuff like that. I feel like Earthworm Jim 2 is a lot better about that. It is an easier game than the first one, but it has a lot more variety and just it's more fun. Also, Earthworm Jim 2 has a much less oppressive atmosphere, which some people would probably consider a negative, but I always liked the cartoon in Earthworm Jim 2 much better than the first game. Also, if you mash jump when you fall, you can slow your descent by Jim spinning his head like a propeller. And it's so funny once you know that like the lead designer of this also worked on Cool Spot and Aladdin and stuff, because this game shares so many little touches. Because in Cool Spot, you have the 8-directional aiming. And, you know, Aladdin also has a slow melee attack with unlimited uses, and then a fast, ammo-limited projectile. Also, anything that sparkles like that, you can head whip through and, like, swing. I think Enter the Gungeon has a gun that's a reference to Earthworm Jim. There's actually an Earthworm Jim reference in Donkey Kong Country 2 also. But I think there's a special animation if one of these gets you. Yep, there it is. You can climb these funky wall outcroppings, but okay, it feels really weird because there's really no resistance, so it's just Jim's animation flailing in front of an outcropping. It doesn't feel like you're climbing. Yeah, like, because that Earthworm Jim's so weird because it's like most retro enthusiasts do not like the character designer who is strongly associated with the series. Oh yeah, and of course, on top of everything else, said character designer is also pro AI, because why wouldn't he be? It's just like the cherry on the douchebag sundae. Oop, I forgot. Yeah, you have like super powered mega blasts that'll just nuke anything in one shot. The problem is there's no way to hot swap weapons, so once you get like the super powered weapon, also LOL at the cow crossing sign. Just the worst human being. Like he's on the list, yeah. It just always mesmerizes me how people like the trash, horrible people. And keep in mind, when I say trash, I mean like they're trash in ways they choose to be. Yeah, just can't leave one shitty option or shitty opinion untouched. They have to like do the full house of being just every shit. Unlimited shit works. Bouncy tires. So I guess you guys can have a cute little fun fact about Earthworm Jim that's not depressing. In the cartoon series, Earthworm Jim was actually voiced by Dan Castellaneta, the voice of Homer Simpson. And it's actually really nice to hear Dan doing a not Homer voice. I mean, he can't really complain. Like, as far as voice acting goes, he's set for life. This is a conveyor belt of garbage. That poor CRT TV. Also, if you're wondering why in the first Earthworm Jim that Jim has a vaguely southern accent, is because apparently, canonically, Jim is an earthworm from Texas. A supersuit fell on a normal earthworm from space, and the molecules of the supersuit transformed him into Earthworm Jim. Jim's actual body is just the worm, which is actually utilized in gameplay in some of the later stages. But the supersuit is what gives him arms and legs and a gun. He is also a board-certified Goofy Goober, which we love to see. I actually really do like how the cartoon show portrays Jim as a character, where, like, instead of just making him an idiot, Instead, he's one of those people who's unbelievably intelligent with zero common sense and zero ability to read the room. There are actually a lot of secrets in the first stage here. I just don't feel like doing them. I'm not sure how long I'm going to play this. But like I said, I can't completely ignore the fact that I grew up with it. I still have, like, the action figures, like the Playmates toys and everything. Because, I don't want to say autistic, but... I mean... I can't argue with you. Oh yeah, the rabid dog with the one eyeball that explodes into bones is named Fifi, by the way. Oh, that's right. Like I said, one of my biggest problems with this game is, like, as pretty as it is, the level design just doesn't have any levels that are just a level to run around in. That irritates me with a lot of games, actually, is where, like, every level has something, quotation marks, it's doing, so there's just not a place to just run around and enjoy the game's controls. Warning! Giant sprite-layered garbage can. Ow. Okay, he will Shoryuken, he will cut a rug on the dance floor, launch anvils at you. I really don't like this mid-boss very much because it is super hard to tell if you're actually getting any feedback. Very cool. Just like you, chat, you're very cool. Wait, there's a really good smear frame here. Let's see if I can get it. There we go. This was actually one of the earlier games to, the character animations are very fun. The animators have a lot of whimsy. That's why it's hard to be mad at the Earthworm Jim games, because they're like pure concentrated whimsy. But, like, a lot of these games, they're not exactly to the level of execution of, like, Cuphead for Earthworm Jim 1 or 2, but they are, like, really smoothly animated, and, like, their animation technique and stuff and how they got it all captured into the game was a big selling point when these games were new. Because nothing really looked like this on 16-bit before. Though hilariously, there was a little bit of a low-key rivalry between Earthworm Jim and Donkey Kong Country, just because they were going for the capturing animation from the completely opposite sides. You know, with Donkey Kong Country pre-rendering, using pre-rendered animation to make the sprites, with Earthworm Jim using hand-drawn animation, like traditionally, to make the sprites. But anyway, now for an actual special interest I can be okay yapping about loudly. Because we have played Mega Man 1 and 2, and I promise I will finish Mega Man 3, you guys. I haven't forgotten. I just really get burnt out easily with the Doc Robot stages. Me gay, man. What are you chewing on, Dr. Light? Spit it out. Okay. That's what But yeah, they actually ported Mega Man 1 through 3. Dr. Light immediately starts chewing faster and moving away from you. Yeah. Not only can you play Mega Man 1, 2, and 3, but you have save files. You don't even have to worry about passwords. Let's do some Mega Man 2. But yeah, this originally released in Japan and Europe and did not get a North American release officially until the Sega Genesis Mini came out in 2018. Though it actually did get a, I don't think it was from Limited Run, I think it was from a different company, but it did get a North American cartridge release in like 2019, 2020-ish. Like with the Genesis branding and everything. Though granted, there had been replica cartridges for years at this point. But yeah, unlike the North American version of Mega Man 2, there's no normal and difficult mode. Because, as I mentioned when I streamed Mega Man 2 many eons ago, the quotation marks difficult mode is just the regular Japanese difficulty, which is how the game was originally designed. The quotation marks normal mode is easy mode, and it was made for the international market, which, like, the original Mega Man didn't sell too well, and it got a lot of complaints about being a little bit too difficult, which it kind of is. So, them adding that easier difficulty to the original release of Mega Man 2 is understandable. Mega Man runs faster than this. I'm on a conveyor belt, you guys. Like, I love Super Mario All-Stars, but it's always surreal to see, like, 3 NES games on a Sega Genesis. Ew. Also, Mega Man's sprite is slightly larger, and his lemons don't shoot as fast in the, It's not a deal breaker or anything in Wily Wars, but it is just a weird change. But not everything is scaled up for Mega Man's increase in sprite size. Metal Man song! Ow! Also, when I was a kid, I used to just sit here and farm extra lives whenever I saw these drills. Like, instead of representing the E-Tank with a dot, it's got a tiny little sprite of the can. Welcome to the local drill farm. Ow. What? Honestly, I haven't played a whole lot of the Wily Wars versions, but I feel like item drops are way lower in Wily Wars than they are in the NES versions. Because it's a little weird, because there are kind of 3 completely different versions of the first 3 Mega Man games. They just don't seem like they're different. Because, you know, obviously there's the NES originals, and those are the versions that are in, like, Mega Man Legacy Collection and stuff. There's the Wily Wars versions for Mega Drive and everything. Ow. There's also the Rockman Complete Works versions for PS1 that were originally Japan exclusive, but those were actually the ones used for the GameCube, Xbox, and PS2 Mega Man Anniversary Collection. Fuck. Spicy hot take. I should have known Rain's got to get at least 1 per stream. Okay, today's spicy hot take. As much as everybody, especially people around my age range, you know, in their 30s and going into their 40s and stuff soon, as much as they like to complain about them, the constant flood of remasters and remakes is a really, really good thing, actually. And I feel like a lot of the people who complain about it are coming from a place of privilege. Specifically in like an ageism privilege, because people who are fucking like between the ages of 15 and 25 didn't get to grow up with a PlayStation 1, didn't get to grow up, you know, in a time when they could go to the fucking thrift store and get a box of Super Nintendo games for $10 with 50 games in it. You know, they didn't, you know, like, because I'm one of those lucky people. I remember going into GameStop with $20 and leaving with 7 PlayStation 2 games. And I'm not talking about shovelware. I'm talking about fucking Dark Cloud and Jak and Daxter and Beautiful Joe and shit. You know, like, retro gaming used to be cheap. And in the PlayStation 2 and Xbox 360 era, the repackagings of, like, PS2 games and stuff like that, you know, like the HD collections, were clowned on because, you know, you could walk into GameStop and get a PlayStation 2 for $20, and for another $20, like I said, get a stack of those exact games they're trying to sell for you in a $40 package for 3 games. But that's just not the world we live in anymore. You know, even like the 3DS, which isn't that retro, you know, most 3DS games are still the price they were when they were new, if not more expensive. And that's not even the crazy stuff. Like, basic shit like Super Mario is still like $30. You know, once again, even games and systems that are not even 20 years old never had that phase where you could just find them for $5. And while some retro games and stuff are cheaper, there's a finite amount of old games when it comes to a lot of retro stuff. You know, like, if you want a PS2 copy of Persona 4, there's only so many Persona 4s. It hasn't been reprinted beyond what was happening when it was in regular circulation. So having older games available on these digital platforms is important, because instead of having however many Persona 4s were printed for PS2 and then for Vita, there's unlimited Persona 4s on Steam, so everybody gets to play it. I feel like the reason so many series are rocking insane sales numbers compared to what they used to do, aside from the fact that just more people exist who didn't exist before 2000 or whatever, you know, aside from just more human beings existing who are going to play video games and video games being more accepted, is also the fact that the availability of a video game is not limited by print runs. And, you know, that's a lot of stuff for remasters, but for remakes, especially remakes like the Final Fantasy VII trilogy, you know, like the Trials of Mana remake, the Trails in the Sky First Chapter remake, that are closer to reimaginings in a lot of ways, or they blur the line between remake and reimagining. Those are really important too, because somebody who's 23 years old is probably not gonna look at Final Fantasy VII and PS1 and be like, I want to play that. They're gonna be looking at it and be like, that looks old as shit. But they'll look at Final Fantasy VII Remake and think it looks rad as hell. They're going to play Final Fantasy VII Remake, and they're going to be like, dude, I love these characters. I love this world. I want more. You know, I think I will go give the original a try. These remakes are so important for making sure these franchises stay relevant, but also making sure that Final Fantasy VII means something to somebody who's 18 years old. You know, making sure Final Fantasy VII means something to somebody who doesn't know what a PlayStation 1 even looks like. It's part of the reason I'd like libraries to include video games for the sake of media preservations. I know some libraries do that, but I want it to be more mainstream. Absolutely. I mean, I want to give a humongous kudos to something Capcom is doing. I wish I remember the name of the website off the top of my head. But Capcom has a website where they have a rotating stable of like arcade and NES and Super Nintendo Capcom games. And you can just go to their website and play those games in the browser. Like, I know they had like Breath of Fire on there. You could just play Breath of Fire officially in the browser on the website. They had like the Street Fighter 2 on there. I think they had Mega Man X on there for a while. Like, no charge, nothing. It's just, there's an old Capcom game right there. Just play it. You can, like, if you ever wanted to try out Mega Man X, but you don't want to buy the X collection, it was on their website. Just play Mega Man X in your browser. Officially from Capcom. I'm like, that is so amazing. I wish every company did that. I know with Bethesda, I don't remember if it's Bethesda or not, but I think Bethesda for a while, you could just go to their website and just download Fallout 1 and 2. No pomp or circumstance, like they were just there. I think Rockstar's website still has the first two PC versions of Grand Theft Auto, like Grand Theft Auto and Grand Theft Auto 2. You can just have them for free. Yeah, it's sick as hell because, like, being able to play it in browser lowers the barrier of entry so much. Like, all you need is a computer. It doesn't even have to be a good computer. Sonic fans will just remake their favorite Sonic games up just because. They're like, huge kudos to Sega's marketing team for just ignoring the fans and just being like, okay, you guys do that, whatever. Because what a lot of other marketing and executives don't realize is that these fan remakes and fan reimaginings and fan games are putting your game on the map for people that might not otherwise go look. Because people that try something for free and love it will usually come back and buy stuff later. From Sonic Underground. Sonic Underground. How are you doing today, Cole, on this lovely Wednesday evening? Damn it, I got it without having to stop and think about it 3 consecutive times, and then I fucked it up. But yeah, today's going to be a short stream, so I'm probably not going for much longer. But we're just kind of doing Sega Genesis and chill, Mega Drive and chill. We played some Sonic 2, some Ristar, some Earthworm Jim, and now we're doing Mega Man The Wily Wars. Just wanted to show off a little bit of the remake of it, because I played Mega Man 1 and 2 on stream, so gotta jump through the door. Why does the door sound like Final Fantasy Tactics text scrolling? Gotta hit that sick pose. Fuck. You know, the Metal Blade in this game is so funny because aside from being OP and having over 100 shots of ammo, like half of the bosses are weak against it. We all fucking tired in this stream. Doing well, just tired, and I don't know if getting sick. That's the thing is, like, in this spring to summer transition, it's hard for me to tell if I'm getting sick or if I'm just being allergic to literally everything. Fuck. Cheating. Nah, actually using rewinds and save states is not cheating. I don't think it is anyway. I think it's kind of necessary band-aid on these old games because they're not designed for a current market, if you really think about it. Because I've mentioned this on stream before, but a lot of old games, you know, they have limited storage space, and once you master a lot of these games, you can beat them in an hour, if not less. So, you know, the difficulty and being kind of obtuse and keeping things obfuscated was how they got your $50, $60, $70 worth out of these. Because you got to keep in mind, the prices of games have not really changed that much over the years. In fact, they kind of went down in the GameCube and PS2 era, where $50 was kind of the standard, because before that, there wasn't much of a standard, and like, you'd have some N64 games being $75 and $80 because of ROM cartridges. Because that was the big thing nobody talks about that the PlayStation actually did to kind of destabilize all of that, is like, game prices could be all over the place because of like save batteries and ROM cartridge sizes and, you know, super effects chips and all that. But with PlayStation 1, with cheap to print discs, most games are only $40 or $50. And I think that's part of the reason, like, more than anything, price is usually the big motivator that I think is a big success people don't talk about in the console market. Because, like, yes, people will pay if they want something bad enough, but you're not going to get the kid market with premium hardware. Because, like, as much as I usually respect Valve and a lot of what they do, the price bump on the Steam Deck was absurd. I know it's a premium device for hardcore enthusiasts, but it's touching tips with the price of a mid-range PC at this point, and at that point, just buy a PC. And I mean, hell, it's more expensive than a PS5 Pro now. Reminds me of, I'm sorry, yeah, the Retro Roundup doesn't help. My mom has the flu. Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, the Toy Story Retro Roundup is insane. I never expected any of those games to come back. Get equipped with Metal Blade. I am not a fan of this Mega Man sprite for this screen. Like, he looks like he just woke you up to tell you he threw up. Trying to afford anything game-related in this economy, I just feel like trying to squeeze water from a rock, for sure. Man, Heatman looks like I feel like we all feel right now. Heatman's just there. He doesn't give a shit. He's like, he just clocked in. He just clocked in, and he was already ready to go home before he clocked in. Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine is such a weird-ass game, because, like, it's just Puyo Puyo, like the first one. But, reskinned to be about Robotnik, like, but the thing is, it's not like the game Robotnik. They based this on the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon. Is Heatman melting? No, he's actually a Zippo lighter. Witness my evil dream to rid Mobius of music and fun forever!
My latest invention, the Mean Bean Steaming Machine, will not only dispose of those fun-loving jolly beans of Beanville, but turn them into robot slaves to serve my evil purposes. Robots, bring me those beans.
And then a tutorial, which is the tutorial lifted straight from Puyo Puyo 1. See, it's even more bizarre when you get into the game. Because so much of it is straight up Puyo Puyo 1. I think exercises... Oops, wrong button. Exercises practice mode. But yeah, it even has freaking Carbuncle from Mato Monogatari in the game. They didn't even take him out or reskin it. He's just there. Yeah, this is a match 4 puzzler, and I think it predates most of the ones you're probably thinking of, which is crazy. But predictably, if you create a match from... If you basically get multiple ones to match in a single move... Let's see if we can do it like that. Put that there. Then you'll get a combo, and then you can, like, hit your opponent with a... Basically bury them under a bunch of junk. Kind of what you'd expect from a competitive puzzle game, but, like, Puyo Puyo is kind of the game that wrote the book on it. Little guy. Carbuncle is such a little guy. Oop, wrong button. Wait, shit. No, I think I actually have to reset to get out of this. I forget how many old games, when you start a mode, you can't just pause and choose exit. You have to, like, click the reset button on your console to do it.
Beans, beans, let me give you a hand, or two. I've to prepare Dr. Robotnik a beautiful bean feast. Come to arms, my beauties.
Man, those arms are looking pretty wild. Yeah, there's Carbuncle from the Puyo Puyo series just chilling in our quotation marks Sonic game. Yeah, Scratch Grounder and Coconuts are featured later in the quest as well. Most of these designs are actually from the very first episode of Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, the Super Sonic Special Search and Smash Squad, which that title has aged hilariously. But most of these robots get junked in the first episode, don't get named, don't get voice lines, and are pretty much thrown away for one-off gags. So they just, like, pulled everything from those old-ass character designs. Well, they weren't that old when this game came out. It is eternally very humor to me. Get yippied. I'm gonna say it could have been a Chow, but I don't think those existed then. Nope, that was not till Sonic Adventure. My brain vibes with Puyo Puyo more than Tetris. I don't know why, it just clicks more for some reason. They both tickle the brain in a different way. I'm just more used to Tetris, mostly because of way too much time spent playing Tetris 99. But I do love Puyo Puyo. I'm just not all that great at it. Yeah. Also, there's one thing I remember. I technically still have it. I think it's in somewhere in my storage. But I had this VHS tape that I got in the mail that I sent off from Lunchables that was all Sega Genesis cheats and tips, and I watched that thing to death. And one of the things that I remember, there's a password thing here, so you can actually pick up your data in the middle. They call the clear beans refugee beans. in this one. Well, the clear Puyo. Red, refugee, yellow. Takes you straight to Eggman on the hardest difficulty. I have always remembered that for like over 30 years. You dopey dunce-bots! Can't you do anything right? Now I'll have to do my own dirty work and blend those beans! Sprite work in this game's pretty sick, though. Yeah, the Puyos are moving very fast. I'm going to cry. Eggman will freaking combo you into oblivion. Or Morrowind. Like, I am not good enough to Puyo Puyo at this speed. Especially not now being tired. I'm not cheating, you're cheating. Shit. They call it hardest for a reason. Sorry, boss. They caused a commotion with that code. Yeah, this game over screen is actually from that first episode that I mentioned. It's based on it, the Robotnik on a stage yelling about how much he hates Sonic. Because IIRC, I don't know if it's in here. I have to go to the Japanese one. Yep, there's Puyo Puyo 1. This is basically the Japanese version of... Well, it predates Mean Bean Machine. Hitarira Puyo Puyo, that's single player mode. You got practice stages, stage 1, or you can jump to stage 4. This is too much kanji. I can't read it this fast. Shanai. But yeah, look. It's exactly the same fucking background and everything. They just replaced the characters with the ones from the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. But now you're canonically playing as Arl from the Mato Monogatari series. Though at this point, she's much more well known for being part of the Puyo Puyo series. Oh, wait, I get to experience a childhood nightmare of the Buzz fight in Retro Roundup. Yeah, that legitimately gave me chills as a kid, too. I remember renting the game and being, like, very uncomfortable with that Buzz Lightyear boss fight in the first Toy Story game. Hey, if we can get that Toy Story and stuff like that on modern consoles, I mean, we got to be able to get Cool Spot eventually, right? Actually, it is so crazy to me how, like, because I always assumed that with Puyo Puyo it would be like way different from Mean Bean Machine. I guess it's just a score attack mode. But the fact that, like, everything is so similar except they just replaced a lot of the sprites and stuff. Oh, that's options. Why is it in hiragana? Cool Spot. I love the freaking Cool Spot game. I remember renting it on Super Nintendo when I was a kid, but I ended up getting it for Genesis, which is the copy I have now. But hey, on the subject of Puyo Puyo, Let's do it like this. You can get the original Puyo Puyo's arcade version on Switch as part of the Sega Ages line. And Puyo Puyo 2, which I feel like nobody knows this. When Eternal Sonata on modern consoles, please. Oh my gosh, Eternal Sonata is so freaking good. I actually need to like go back and do a full playthrough of it because I don't think I ever finished it. Like, the game is drop dead gorgeous. It's amazing how well it holds up. But okay, fun thing about this Sega Ages version. See how it's on International? Do arcade mode. Okay, so this there's an English version of the first Puyo Puyo, actually as Puyo Puyo, not changed to Mean Bean Machine or Kirby or anything, that actually did get an arcade release in English, but it got a really limited release, and most footage of it was thought to be fake or bootleg. But they actually used the ROM from that original, English arcade version for this release officially from Sega. Unlike previous fools, I play for keeps. Talk is cheap. Prepare for battle. Brave fool. So yeah, there's an official English version of the original Puyo Puyo, and it is available on Switch for like $8. You can play the original Japanese as well. Fun fact, the original Puyo Puyo is the best-selling Mega Drive game in Japan. It was pretty much a system seller. Also, whenever you clear 4 beans together, it will also pop any refugee beans that are nearby. I keep calling them beans because I was playing Mean Bean Machine. I'm so sorry. Any Puyo will pop any garbage Puyo nearby. Puyo Puyo fans are going to come for me in the comments. But yeah, I just think it's really cool that what was thought to be a lost arcade version, like the lost English arcade version of this, you can just buy it now. Actually, they're droplets. Yeah, you got 23 hours before the droplets hit the Earth. But guys, I do believe I'm going to do like one more Genesis game, and then I think we'll call it. I know it's been a short stream. I only really plan to go 2 hours because, like I said, I'm super tired, super out of it. And I will hopefully, unless I feel like completely wretched, I do want to stream tomorrow, and that'll probably be like a normal length stream. The big EP claims us all. Hey, I'm actually trying to take care of myself and rest, but if I only do 2 streams a week, it like drives me insane. It gnaws at me. So I didn't want to skip streaming today since I didn't stream yesterday. Yeah. Do another one of my favorite Genesis games of all time, Toe Jam and Earl. See, Rain. Want to learn something fun about Toe Jam and Earl? Greetings, my name's Toe Jam. And this here's my bro, Big Rappin' Earl. Yo, what's up? Earl and myself are highly funky aliens from outer space. Outer space. More specifically, we're from planet Funkatron. Funkatron.
Thank you, Earl. Check this out. This is our highly funky, ultra cool, righteous Rapmaster rocket ship. Notice the megawatt speakers, with which Earl and I have been known to crank out some extremely funky tunes. Crank it, Earl. Yeah, this is actually a roguelike. And actually, aside from maybe Fatal Labyrinth, I think it's one of the first roguelikes on console. Recently, we ran into a small problem. We were cruising in our rocket, thumping out a funky beat, when Big Earl said he'd like a shot in the driver's seat.
Also, this game's vibes are immaculate. I just adore it so much.
Should have never let Earl drive. Yo, so here we are, chilling out on the most insane planet in the galaxy. Planet Earth. Thanks to Earl. All we have to do now is find our 10 pieces of our rocket ship. We can jet out of here. No problem.
Because yeah, not only is this a roguelike, it's a roguelike with co-op. It's got local co-op, and fun fact, this is the game that invented the whole thing in Lego games where if you're together, you'll have one screen, but if you guys split up, it'll turn into a split screen. This is literally the game that invented that. It has dynamic split screens. I usually just play as Toe Jam, so I'm going to play as Earl this time. You can also come in here, and A, B, and C will give you different musics, and you can make your own mix. You can see the intro again. You can look at the controller options. Now, Fixed World is always the same every single time, and it's actually a really good one if you want to, like, kind of get a feeling for how the game plays and stuff, so you'll know what to expect every time. But it's got so much... Yep. It's top-down. You can move in 8 directions. B button will open up your window here. And the A button is usually a confirm button on menus. Like with the super high tops, you can get a super fast running speed. And presents can have anything in them. Which that one apparently also had super high tops. The elevator will take you to the next stage. Yeah. Toe Jam and Earl can't really swim for long. With super high tops, you can take a long running jump. Get some more presents. Now, some of the presents will be completely bogus and lame and, like, be an explosion or something. And you'll probably notice down there where it says Earl is a wiener.
your experience level is dictated, like, as you level up, you'll get cooler. So you go from like a wiener to a point Dexter, and eventually you'll become like legitimately cool. Let's see what the rest of our presents are. We got a cell phone that'll actually reveal some panels, and you'll probably notice at the bottom, what's that? If you get a gift that'll give you a flight power, there's actually a secret level 0 where you can get a bunch of cool extra stuff. Oop. Yeah, tomatoes. Yeah, this game is actually not really violent. Generally, you can smack enemies by throwing tomatoes at them, and that'll, like, make them leave you alone. Most power-ups are on a timer. And, of course, it's not really that good of an idea to just blow all your presents on the first level like I am now. Slingshot. And the elevator will take you up to the next level, which is the number in the center. Yeah, level 1, I'm pretty sure it'll be the same in every one, but the gifts are not always the same in every single one. So you don't know what's going to be in each gift, though whenever you find a gift in the same wrapping, it'll always have the same thing when you find it later. Come on, Earl. Okay, so C is the map. Come on, Earl. Come on. Yep. He was shy. Earl from the Earl May Shy series. That's right, I forget with the slingshot, you have to, like, hit the D-pad. Bop! Ooh, new peasant. Yeah, the game is very chill vibes. Bucks will be your, currency. There are actual, like, shops and stuff in this game. You can send off for presents. There's also someone you can pay them a couple bucks to identify a mystery present. So, you know, if you don't want to be reckless and just randomly open up a bomb. You can also hold the action button while you have nothing equipped to sneak. There are some sleeping enemies, so this will actually help. And there are some times when you go to certain areas and it'll just, yeah, generate new floor. See, this one's got a teeter animation too. It was all the rage in the Genesis. Yeah, I feel like this is one of those games that not enough people talk about, but more people should. Because it's just really fun. It's a really relaxing playthrough. Like I said, it is a roguelike, and it definitely can get challenging, especially in, like, the higher floors. But the whole thing's just so chill. It's so at its own pace. Like, this would honestly be one of the perfect, like, Switch or Steam Deck games to just, like, sit back and vibe with. Because this is another game that's, like, been a part of my life since I was a kid. But I actually didn't beat it for the first time until maybe, like, 3 or 4 years ago. Because I have the Sega Genesis Classics collection. Ick, moldy cheese. Yeah, the little kind of lavender colored gauge down there is your life gauge. You do have limited lives. Let's see what some of our presents are. Ah, root beer. Did restore some HP. Oh, hey, we got a ship piece right there to the south. Let's go. I feel like if we played this game as kids, first we'd play the shit out of it for like one random weekend for a few months, then we'd always go for Toe Jam in your case and Earl for mine. Oh, Earl, probably pull your pants up, bro. We're 2 for 2 on games where the characters have heart-shaped underwear. Now, like, heart-shaped underwear is like a cursed item to where if you ever put them on, you're guaranteed to end up in a situation where your underwear will get shown to people in public by accident. So this is another thing I was talking about where like a lot of Sega Genesis games would utilize diagonals because of the way the D-pad was laid out. It does make it very comfy to play this on an analog stick. But yeah, the co-op for this game is very fun. Sounds like a silly cursed item in Dragon Quest. I could totally see it being a Dragon Quest cursed item. Yeah, those hula dancers are evil because once they get you, you'll also hula. Which is mostly not a big deal, but if there are other more aggressive enemies nearby, you're basically stunned for a second. Yum! Walking down the road, the power of suggestion. I don't know, hula dancing must be like yawning, where if somebody does it near you, you're just like... Dang. Points at screen flat. I'm out of here. Yo, I leveled up from, I leveled up to Doofus. Yum, cherry pie. Yeah, the orange goop over there, it's on that one platform, but the orange goop is like a quicksand and you will fall into it if you walk across it for too long. But when I was a kid, it always looked to me like it was nacho cheese. Gross. Old cabbage. Like I said, this is a very chill vibe game. Not gonna guarantee this 100% or anything, but it is something I may stream one day for like a super chill stream. Check the map real quick. Okay, no, I haven't found the elevator yet. But yeah, like I said, like almost everything I've played now, with the exception of the Sega Ages Puyo Puyo, like all this stuff is on the Genesis thing. So if you have the expansion pack for Switch or Switch 2, you want to try any of these games out, it's a great time. Ooh, hey, we found a mailbox. Mail order, yeah. Let's buy a mystery for $4. Definitely a game you watch on YouTube and fall asleep to and just wake up at a stage you've never seen before. I'm not 100% sure what that did. Thing is, you actually can fall off into previous areas. So I wonder if that gift was supposed to like teleport you to the highest area you've been to. You will actually end up falling onto a spot corresponding to where you fell from originally. So you can kind of end up stranded like this sometimes. But all you got to do is go back to the elevator you found before and you can go back up. But yeah, this game's chill vibes combined with the co-op and, you know, the general fun that comes with playing roguelikes anyway. It's just a really great mix for a super relaxing, comfy game. Friend slop. Hey, it's the wizard guy. Got a buck? Yeah. You'll restore your HP for $1. Got that hula AoE effect. But yeah, guys, I do believe I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Like I said, it's a shorter stream, but thank you so much for hanging out, for playing some Sega with me. I hope you enjoyed my little sampler pack of all the games and everything. But I do believe, since Hex is live, let's go ahead and raid her. Thanks for the stream. Good night, all. I hope everybody can have some good, restful, chill sleepies. Let's go bother Hex. So full from all those retro games. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye. Also, don't forget Squeaker Raid with little mouse emoji. Bye.